Hi. So I'm not sure. I know it's Sunday. I'm not sure if anyone's out there, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. What we're going to do quickly is, well, let me turn that. I can't turn this off. There we go. I want to do the walkthrough on 5, and we're going to do this little bit of decorating on the cover. And pretty much, I want to go through. Hi, Laura. Hi, Heather. Oh, Heather, where have you been? I was going to message you today if I didn't see you pop in somewhere because usually you're here. So I haven't seen you. And um, so what we're going to, here's what's happening. We did really good getting this done in like a week. And I want to get this other pieces and parts finished with you. But when I'm leaving for it's called Craftopia in Vegas for a week, our team. It's the big craft show. And so we're going to get some of the decorations on here. I'm not going to make the flowers with you. Oh, I'm sorry, until I get back. Okay, so it will be the week of the 22nd, but I know a lot of you aren't that caught up. So we need to do that. We're going to do these two big inserts. One that goes on the inside of here. This is the one for the outside. I'm going to do these pockets with you, and I'll just kind of walk through. This is very simple matting. I did do double matting on it, but this is what we're going to do so I can get you these measurements today. So let's do the one. This is going to be, everything's just temporary down. This is the one that's going to fit into the cover. And it was, we already cut it at 8.5 by 12, and we scored it at 6. And I want to give you the measurements. Now, on my original album, I had used the bride and the groom on the outside. I used them on the inside this time. They're cut apart. And so I want to use the wording, the two cut aparts that are, may you always be the one who notices the little things that make the light pour through, and may they always remind you there is more to life and there is more to you. So I thought these would be really nice. And I want to just remove things, and we'll give you the measurements as we're going along so that you guys know this. And please know that this video will be recorded as all my videos, so you can always go back. You can fast forward through any of the talking. And I do want to I usually don't, like I said, I keep things so positive because I don't like to give. But if you don't like something about the video or my video or anyone else's, and you don't want to hear the chattering and the talking, I totally understand, but you can hit the mute button. Yeah, I've been deleting those comments because it's just negativity, and it doesn't need to be anymore on anybody's Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Okay? That's where we'll leave it. So, video's recorded. You'll be able to fast forward, go back. But I do want to say happy Sunday, and Heather, I just hope, oh, and Laura, both ankles. Woo. You guys get better. You got a lot of crafting to do. Christmas is coming. So the outside cover is 8.5 by 6. And this was the matting that matched the front. And I cut mine at 5 7/8 by 8 3/8. That will go down first. You know, I hurt my wrist yesterday, so I'm having trouble squeezing the bottle, playing ball with the dogs. And I was kneading dough for their dog treats. So I guess we all have little owies this weekend. We're going to put that down first. Now your cut aparts, you are going to want to cut them down because this is 6 inches. These are your 4 by 6 cut aparts. And I did cut mine down to 5 3/4. So first cut them out. They'll be 4 by 6. Then I took 1/8 of an inch top and bottom to make them 5 3/4. Then the width is going to be 3 about 3 3/4. You're going to take an eighth and an eighth. Take it down until they both fit, and you want them both to be the same size. That's why I chose cut aparts that had some border on the sides. They're pretty much the same size. And then, whoops, I want this one here. I can add them now to the cover because I wanted some of the matting to show at the top and the bottom. Now this one, I want to try and place it so we have about the same placement. Can definitely use a ruler or you can eyeball it. Now, the cut apart, you saw them in the book. It was the bride dress and the groom. We used those on the appropriate sides. Then I put bride and groom up here. You could still use your little stickers. It's from your sticker sheet, the bride and groom. Let me pull this out. See the groom? And there is a bride. Actually, it's in your frames and tags. Why there's a groom here and not a bride, I don't know. So I chose to use I Have Loved. You know, that is really hard to read. I have found the one whom my soul loves. I found the one whom my soul loves. And for this one, I am going to put it on a foam dot. So I'm going to use a couple of those now. For white, out of white. So I will just use a black. You won't see it. And it shouldn't get in the way when we put it into the pocket. It will give it a little dimension there. Now the back, well, let's do the inside. I'm going to give you these measurements. The top and the bottom is going to be the same. So the bottom, these are 2-inch wide and 8 3/8 of an inch long. Take off my photo mats. Now the photo mats are all the same. So, and that is the top. They're all the same. This is 4 1/8 by 4 1. No, sorry, 3 7/8 wide and 4 1/8 long, because it's shorter this way. So 3 7/8 high and 4 1/8 long. And then you will have enough room to have an 1/8 of an inch border or 1/8 or 16th, just a tiny bit on the left and right hand side. And then you should have that same, just a little bit of a gap in between each of the photo mats. Now, mine's a little wonky here, so never fear if that happens because you have these wonderful pieces here, and I am going to use this. I want to cut apart my border because it's just easier to use that way. And so I don't have, so my ends match. I always cut that off so it's flat. And then I'm going to cut this down to 8 3/8. It's over here. And I am actually going to put it here at the bottom because of that issue. My photo mats are a little bit wonky and it just doesn't look nice for a gift. If I was just doing this for the show or for the tutorial, I would not even worry about it. So I am going to overlap it there just a little. And then it covered my boo-boo here. And actually that looks very nice. Now be more careful up here. So it's the same measurements, 2 inches by 8 3/8. And for the top, I need to be very careful because I do have one border strip left, but I need to pay attention and make sure I don't get them crooked. That temporary off. So I want it to come right down to the score line. This time I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see the placement of my photos. Same size, 3 7/8 by 4 1/8. It's the white on white that I'm having the issue with. I'm going to trim him down a hair. I may have to trim them both. Okay. So my top, they're just a hair off because that one you can see I got him off. And I am trying to match it to the edge of the green so I can keep things straight. I hope. that's the inside, 4 photo spots. And now for the back. This would also be another good place to put your wedding invite. And I did that on the original. So let me take this apart and give you the measurements. That was just one of those camouflaged pieces to cover up a boo-boo. So this time we have, well, it's the same, 2 by 8 3/8. And I am going to put that down first. What I usually do is put down my main colored piece and then cut my photo mat to fit. The photo mat area is 3 7/8 by 6 1/4. Now, once again, this can be left off, and that would be a good place for your wedding invitation if you want to. I just like to put it on the wedding album of the couple who are going to get it. Kind of personalizes it. Well, hello. How are you? So you should have about a 1/16 of an inch between the two. So this is the spot you would either measure or just trust me. I wouldn't trust me because see now I need to cut a new piece. The way I laid it down the second time is a little bit different. That happens, so I need to cut one that's, well, we need it to be 3 7/8. It's got to be the same width here. And then my bottom is hair over 2/8 of an inch. So let me find another blue piece, or we could even put gold and white there if you want to go with a different color. Oops. But I've got all my scraps here, so that blue should come right up. And of course it does not. Here it is. That's why it's sitting right here. Okay. So I'll make a cut that's 2 1/8. Measure yours first. And 3 7/8 was my width because it's the same width as my photo mat. But we may need to trim this because I want it to match the bottom. So I'll take a 1/16 of an inch off. Oh, I might even use the other side. There we go. I like the floral. So I'll put the floral down. So mine came out to be 2 1/16 by 3 7/8. Again, you'll just have to measure after you place down your photo mat. And then I just took a 1/2 inch strip that was 3 7/8 to add just a little glitter there. So it's 1/2 by 3 7/8. Okay, and there's the insert that we're going to now place right here. And that's what really helps you to keep your album closed. Super cute. Love it. Let's do the other insert for the inside and then we'll come back and decorate. So this is the 9-inch insert, that very large one that is going to sit behind the little album. And what I did is I took, it's one of the sheets I don't think we've even cut into. It's that banner piece. So I'm going to cut one with you again to show you how to get your banners. You can either go from the bottom or the top, it won't matter, but you need to cut off this strip. And you don't want to cut off the little strings that make it look like it's hanging. So I just put it in my cutter. Watching where I was cutting so I could get my little banners, and then I'm going to cut this strip again. Again, watch that you're not cutting into these. And that you're not cutting the bottom off your banners. So, well, I'm usually at church at this time, but I've got to pack and get ready for, so I didn't go. So what I did is I trimmed, I chose to do 5. So I counted 5, which is, I went from this right-hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the width I went with. But let me show you when we cut it. 1, 2, 3. Now you can make it all the, let me show you. You can make it go all the way across if you like. 5. And I'll cut it right here between the Mr. and Mrs. and the Happily Ever After. Now, I noticed on the left-hand side, I didn't want less border than what's here. So I took off 1/8 of an inch to make them match. And that's how I got the banner pieces. And that basically, so see, every time you cut them, they're going to be different. So that became the size that I needed my photo mat. And once I laid all this down first, I knew what size to put over here. So I'll show you how that's done. I'll take everything off. You can kind of get an idea. And hopefully things will go back the way I had them. So I'm not really giving you a measurement on this since everybody's will be different. But if you're not using the banners, then my piece is 5 3/4 by 1 3/4. And white on white can be tricky. Now I measure from this edge over, leaving 1/8 of an inch. And for me, that came out to be 3 1/8. But measure yours first. And it's 8 7/8 long. Get over there. There we go. Okay, now you can measure, or you can leave it depending on what you're using for cardstock. Mine came out to be 5.5. It's a little over 7. So I did my photo mat at 5. That's not right. It came out to be 5 and 7/8. So 5 and 3/4, and I cut mine right at 7. Now I will recheck because we want everything to match in height, and it still fits. Still fits good. So that is how I got this size, which is a nice size for a big photo of 5 by 7. Now when you turn this over, again, I brought in some of her yellow and then the little accent pieces, and I used the Mr. and Mrs. So I will take these off and give you the measurements. And I will start with my yellow. And it was 4 by 6.5. So I did that for the yellows, 4 by 6.5. And the white was 3 3/4 by 6 1/4. But you can make yours any size you like. I just want to get this on there straight this time. There we go. You've got to smear that glue around so it won't show. But I just don't want to mark up the white, so I'm going to use my rag. So this is basically, this is like our starting point of where my other matting pieces will go. And whoops, I hit a reset button. I am so sorry. Are we still there? Let me make sure I came back. Sorry about that. I bumped a button thinking I was resetting the comments and I didn't. Okay, so up here in the corner to keep it straight, I'll use my scoreboard. I want about 1/8 of an inch around that matting. Then my next accent piece is going to be 4 3/4 by 3. But again, you're going to want to measure. And after you put it down and you want to decide how much space you want between the photo mat and your accent piece. I like to try and still keep the 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay. My next piece, I wanted to come all the way down, and it's the same width, which is 4 3/4, and I do need to take a 1/8 of an inch off. So mine came out to be 5 3/4. Then our bottom piece, again, just measure. Mine's 2 5/8, and it needs to be the same width as my yellow, so that's 4 inches. And I went 2 1/4 by 4. And I just used the piece that was, everything, wedding cake. And I made sure I got the Mr. and Mrs. banner in there. And it's up to you. Sometimes I like to um, like put something there on the intersected areas. And so I do want to use the Mr. and Mrs. And we're going to pump that up. It should still fit just fine into our pocket. And then that will enable us to put a photo underneath. Okay, and there's that 9 by 9 photo mat that will go into, let's take all of that out. We just really need to take that one out. Okay, we'll slip that down in, and that will look over the top and give you kind of a border up here at the top. And we have some matching. Now across the top, we need to put some matting down because we don't want that to show. And again, you can either match, what's there, either with the green, well, you may be using a totally different collection than mine. Let's see. We want to keep the green going. Or bring in the blue, which was the background that I've already used. No, it's got to be green. So this is going to be 10 inches. I like to go about an inch down, so it'll be 3 by 9 7/8. I don't want to throw that away. Make sure it fits. Sometimes with those pockets it doesn't. So I'll take off 1/8 of an inch until it fits. And we did make this pocket a little bit smaller than the page itself. So I did take mine down to 8 3/4 by 3. Okay, now these spine pieces on the original album, I did use the glitter paper and I did do a double matting. So if you are wanting to do a double matting, which I'm not going to do on the camera, but I'll be doing it on the week of the 22nd. So these are 1 3/4 of an inch by 10. You would cut your first piece just short of 1 3/4 by 9 7/8. And then the inside piece of the double matting, if you want to put another color on top, I would go 1.5 by 9.5, and then you can layer them here. Of course, these are going to be smaller. These were on the left and right are 1 1/4, I believe. Double check your measurements I gave you in the beginning. I think these are the 1 1/4. Same thing here, but I'll be double matting these the week of the 22nd. Like I said, we got really far, and then I just ran out of time with us having to leave for the big show tomorrow morning. So now our mat, and actually you can have either side, but your great big mat will fit inside just nicely. Seeing that it hangs over the top and it just really looks nice together. Especially when I get my mats done, it'll look even nicer. You got a nice big photo spot there, pictures, and see, I got these all ready to go. Finish it when I get back. Now, also, we did talk about the lay flat pocket. I'm going to leave mine, and I did give you somewhat the measurements. And then over here, I'll do this just like we did on the front. Same measurements, everything. Remember, we made this pocket. Now, before you put your pocket down, you do want to mat the back. Or if you're still going to be working on yours, I will be matting that on the 22nd, finishing up there. And I will make the flowers with you on the 22nd. But right now, I want to go ahead and put our little cute embellishments on the front cover. And that was in how I did these mats. So that I'll do them exactly like I did, do the insides. That was in video 4. Now we'll just put this guy here, put everything together. Also, right here, 10 by 10. I will be doing a double matting. So it will be 9 7/8 by 9 7/8. And I will be using, I already pulled them out. I'm using the green. So my first layer will be 9 7/8 by 9 7/8. Then I'm going to use these leftover pieces, top and bottom, for my side hinges or side spines. There we go. Then my top piece is going to be the floral. I had a different one. It's right here. Oh, no, I didn't. Well, I'll decide, but whatever you decide, because this is, I think I did use this one. So 9 7/8 by 9 7/8. And then this is going to have a bigger border, so it's going to be 9.5 by 9.5. And that will give you the look for the back cover. Then I use these leftover pieces, and they're going to go on the spine. That's 1 3/4. Okay, so I'll save those for when I get back. But for right now, let's put our cute little, we already did this in the last video in 4, where I put the just married, because this is just, it's perfect. And I am going to use my Craft Perfect. I love these. These are in the store. They're bigger. I just love them because they are bigger. And I need my scissors. Want here. May have to cut it just a little bit more. It's wider over there. Now, it depends on how much you want to pop this up off your page. You can double these, so you could put another one on top of each one if you want to really pop it up. And what's so cute is her wedding is the state or a state fair type theme. How cute. That's just perfect. Let's get our little dots out. I did use enamel dots. And if you purchase the kit, you do have the enamel dots in your kit. And we'll put those on with the flowers because I put 3 of them up here. Oh, wait, there. Is that it? We'll be redoing my room when I get back, too. I'm excited because I'll be able to find everything. Oh, let's do something else because we need to add some color here. One thing I did across the top was add this green. It came off of the border strip down here on the bottom. And we want to measure before I put this one on across the top. And you'll need to measure your matting basically. So this one is about 2.5. Or you can just, this is what I like to do. I just add this, my adhesive to the top. And I just go to the edge. And then I just use the paper. I keep losing my screen. There we go. The edge of my paper, and I just cut straight up. So if you want to add some of the green color up there at the top, you can do that. Now, there'll be flowers. And our today is our happily ever after. That was from our chipboard. And I'll put him up on foam. This stuff is really sticky. Really nice, but sticky. So I don't really think it's going to come off, which is really nice. But I still add my adhesive. Oops, and not upside down. Now I know this looks a little chopped off right now, but it won't once I have the flowers here, and we'll have a flower over here. It covers that uncut edge, but it still gives the color of it to kind of break up all that whiteness. I'm trying to find my original. It is on Facebook and YouTube, the walkthrough, where I did use the border, but I used the border on the other part. So of our, what was it called? Of this thing, of our little booklet. Okay, guys, so that is where I'll leave you today. Like I said, next week, no tutorial. And now you can either finish on your own. But again, Wendy and her husband, look at how nice that is once it comes together. We're basically, except for I've got to map my bride's side, done with our album. And if you love this album, make sure to hit subscribe and go back and you can watch all the videos on a play. I've got them in the playlist, but now see how nice that comes together once it starts also getting really full. And I want you guys to have a fabulous week and work on your album next week. And then when I get back, Monday the 22nd, we'll pop on and we'll get the flowers made. I'm going to be using the punches that I did show Friday night, and I'll have some ribbon. Actually, I'm going to use tulle. All weddings have to have tulle. And be sure to watch our lives as we are in Las Vegas at the show, bringing you live all the fun new stuff for fall and Christmas. I mean, Evelyn, I am so sorry. It is Evelyn. Evelyn and her husband made this album come alive with the measurements. So I apologize. I did call her the wrong name. I'm senile. That's all I can tell you most of the time. There's so much going on in my head. So thank you guys. And I'll add this to the playlist so you can go back and get all your videos watched and get your album made. Have a great week next week.